Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Carolina Conversation. I'm your host, Shammond Williams, and we have a great individual with us today. But before I speak about him, if you like this podcast, make sure you go to your podcast provider and click on like, and also make sure that you subscribe to the Field of 68 Media Network on YouTube, where we're expanding our platform where you can actually watch these podcasts. But I'd like to speak about this young man that we have next. He played at the University of North Carolina from 95 to 98. He was a two-time Final Four participant. He also was one of my teammates. He's also my brother, but more importantly, he was the first individual to come to North Carolina from the continent of Africa. He was also the first player to play in the NBA from his country of Senegal. Ladies and gentlemen, we have none other than the great Makhtar N'Diaye.
Well, thanks for having me, man. I'm good, man. Thanks for having me, man. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here, and hey, good to see you. I know we talk all the time. We haven't seen each other, so it's definitely a good thing. I'm looking at those two jerseys up there. I need to put some on my wall as well. But yeah, man, happy to be here.
Hey, you most definitely have them. You have that whole thing. You got both jerseys and you got your degree. So I mean, you got them all. You just got to take time to put up. I don't know if you have that ball, though. I don't know if you remember me getting the ball.
No, I don't. You know what? I think I got one of them in like one of my boxes over there, man. Because we signed so many of those balls.
Yeah. Well, I got the ball signed when we did the 100 years with when we did the dedication to the court to Coach Williams.
Yes, I remember that.
Around getting y'all the side.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I got it all. I remember that. All right there.
But a good time too. We had a good time that day.
No question, man. Yeah. But welcome to the Carolina Conversation, Makhtar. And I appreciate you being on here because you and I, we're brothers.
Yeah.
It ain't like we're brothers. And so you and I, we talk about a lot of things. We've been through a lot of things together, a lot of wars together, a lot of life-changing situations together. And so I appreciate you coming on here because when I first started, due to your schedule, with you being an NBA scout for the New York Knicks, your schedule didn't allow you to. Oh, how can I forget this? Ladies and gentlemen, we also have the commissioner of the Senegalese national team. And congratulations to you guys in the Afro baskets as well.
Thank you.
So we have a big wig on here with us. He's he's control of his own country, and he has some great basketball players. But we're going to get back to, Makhtar N'Diaye in 95. Okay. What made you come to the University of North Carolina?
It's funny. I went to high school at Oak Hill Academy with Jerry Stackhouse and Jeff McGinnis.
Right.
And, we went 36-0 and national champion and all that stuff. And the whole thing was, how can we get this to the next level? How can we play together again?
Right.
So I was committed to go to the University of Wake Forest, actually, initially. Mm-hmm. It did not work out. And then I ended up going to Michigan because North Carolina, by the time I was free, so to speak, of my commitment from Wake, mm-hmm. North Carolina did not have a scholarship left. And when I say that, they had one left, but that was Coach Smith gave it to Rashid Wallace, which I would have done if I was him too. So, so there is no hard feeling on that. Right. But I always, somewhere in the back of my mind, wanted to play again with those guys, and the opportunity came when it was too cold in Michigan and the guys I was close with left for the NBA. And I just felt like, maybe this is my opportunity to go back to North Carolina. Right. And talking to Jeff McGinnis, and she was like, yeah, what you gonna do? I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm not staying in Michigan, that's for sure. It's too cold. My guys gone. Juwan left, Jalen left. I was close to them. Brian, Jimmy left. So I don't really, see myself being here with these young guys. So if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this with people like, that I know. Because I felt like I was changing all over again,
Right.
So, and, we just kind of start talking about it. And then I'm going to tell you a funny story. So I went home. I went home to Senegal that summer.
Yes.
And when I came back, I was supposed to visit Cincinnati, Kansas, and UCLA because North Carolina never called before I left.
Right.
So I'm at home, just chilling with my family, and I got a call. Well, my mom came out and said, well, there is somebody calling you from America. So since mom didn't speak English, she was like, well, I don't know who that is, but they keep saying your name. I'm like, oh, that's probably one of my guys just cracking, joking or whatever. So I got up and went and picked up the phone, and I hear in the back, hey, Makhtar, this is Coach Smith. And I'm like, yo, man, if this is a joke, it's not funny. And I hang up.
Right.
So I went back out. Then 5 minutes later, the phone rang again. So I picked it up. I'm like, hello, this is Makhtar. Hey, Makhtar, this is Coach Smith, Coach Dean Smith from North Carolina. I'm like, hey, man, you're not funny, okay? And I hang up again.
Oh.
Yeah, second time. Then the third time, I told my sister to pick up because she speaks English.
Right.
So she picked up, and the first thing Coach said, I can hear him say, please do not hang up. This is Coach Dean Smith.
Right.
So then my sister was like, yeah, I think that's him. So I got the phone, and she was like, well, Jeff just told me you're transferring and all that stuff, and we would like for you to come visit.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, not a problem. I'll come visit. So I left. When I came back home, I went to visit UCLA. It was okay. But in the back of my mind, I was like, you know what? I'm just doing this for fun. But I know where I'm going if they want me. Then I went to visit Kansas. I'm like, all right. Because I knew Paul Pierce and Ray LaFrance and those guys. And so they was kind of talk me into going to Kansas. Then I was leaving Kansas to come to Chapel Hill. So I came to visit. Coach Guthrie came pick me up at the airport. We're driving to Franklin Street. Like on University Drive, there's like one-way street. So Coach Guthrie took it the opposite way. So we literally like driving opposite everybody else. And I'm like, okay, this really starting like to freak me out. My first day here, and this coach is driving opposite way. I mean, what's going on here? So he was like, well, I don't know what's going on. Coach Guthrie is telling me, I'm like, well, Coach, I think we took the wrong way.
Right.
So he's like trying to persuade me that, no, he didn't take the wrong way. That's guys. Right. I'm like, there's too many cars coming this way, and we're going the opposite, and there's no car behind us. So I think we're not on the right path.
Right.
So anyway, we end up, getting it on 54 and went to the office, and we start talking. And the first person I told I was coming to North Carolina was Miss Wood, Linda Wood.
Yes.
Because I walked in, and she just gave me the nicest hug ever, and we just kind of. He said, "Yeah, just wait. Coach Smith is in the office. He's on the phone. So just wait." So as I'm sitting there, I'm looking around, and you remember how the office used to be when you walk in the little couch, and you can see all the pictures and all that stuff. So I'm looking around, and I'm like, "Wow." I said, "This is where I'm going to be." I said, "Yeah." And she said to me, she said, "So you like what you see so far?" I'm like, "Oh no, I'm coming." And she just kind of gave me that look. She was like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah." I say, "I got friends here already and all that stuff, so I'm coming." I say, "I don't even need to visit campus or anything." So when Coach Smith came out, and he introduced himself, of course, who doesn't know Coach Smith? So I was like, like a little kid. And he was like, "Yeah, how you doing? We're going to call an advisor to take you around and all that stuff." And Miss Wood said, "No, he doesn't need to." He said he's coming.
Right.
And that was it. That was the end of my visit. I met with Coach. Yeah, and then I have a friend who lives in Chapel Hill that we both know, Brian Parker. So I called Brian. I'm like, "Yo, man, come pick me up from the office." Then went to the hotel. and I slept for 2 days and then left. That was my visit in North Carolina. I never, never stepped foot on campus or nothing. You know, I had 2 free nights of sleep, and then I was like, boom, I went back to LA to pick up my stuff, and that's how my journey in North Carolina started.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you really know North Carolina basketball, you understand how special Makhtar is, because Makhtar is the first college transfer that Coach Smith ever took.
Yes.
And the only.
Yep.
He's the only person that Coach Smith had taken as a college transfer, a Division I college transfer. So, I mean, man, you start thinking about a lot of things that you've accomplished, but to be the only person that Coach Smith ever took in that capacity, man, how does that feel?
You know, at that time when that happened, I never really look at it that way.
Of
I just
course.
felt like, you know what, I belong here, that's where I'm going to be. But now looking back, I mean, it's just like more to it than just him taking me, because I remember Coach Williams actually, because when I went to visit Kansas, Coach Williams was really high on me and stuff. And then I remember him telling Coach Smith, well, you made that rule about not taking transfer. If you really want this kid, that's your rule. And that's kind of like what really did it, I think.
Right.
Because Coach was kind of like hesitant about just breaking his own rules. And Shammond, you know how Coach Smith is about rules.
For sure.
So,
Sure.
but he broke his own rule. And I kind of used that against him actually the year I set out. Because I don't know if you remember in practice, he would be like, yeah, we can do this, we can do, and I would be the only one doing it.
Right.
And then guys will try to do it. I remember one time I dunked on Serge Zwicker, that I
Yeah.
sorry,
Saluted.
I had to
I
throw you
remember
under the bus. Remember?
that.
Yes, and I use a few words that was not allowed.
That's
And
right.
Serge replied, and then I think that was the longest day in Serge's life at Carolina. Because Coach, remember, Coach has it all on the side, like I had Serge run down back, 6 by 36. Well, like, you cannot be cussing here, Serge. So I feel like, it was just one of those things that really created a bond between him and I, actually, because I think I was very close to Coach Smith. And I was always brag about having be the one that made him raise the roof on the plane when we come back from Alaska,
Right.
So yeah, that made me feel really special to know that I'm the only one that that had that jersey.
Yeah, that's true. That's the truth. And so, tell me your thoughts, man. Once you actually got into that environment, and of course I was there as well. But this is not about me. This is about you. And you got in that environment, and you began to see how Carolina basketball was, because a lot of times you don't know. You don't know until you get into that environment, and then once you're in that environment, it begins to mold you in some capacity, one way or the other. The environment begins to mold you. So talk to us about actually getting into that environment. I mean, like you had a year to sit out, and then you began to play. And so expand on just what you began to see in that environment that you liked and that you didn't like.
Well, at that time, there was a lot of things I did not like. To be honest with you, since we're going to be honest. Because, I came from starting and playing at the high profile program.
Top 30 player in the country, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
One of the top 30 players in the country. So go ahead, I'm sorry.
So I was playing at Michigan. I was playing heavy minutes. I was starting and I figured, I'm like, well, I'll go to North Carolina. It's gonna be the same thing.
Right.
I'm gonna sit out a year and then I'm gonna come right back in. I'm gonna hoop and it's gonna be on.
Right.
But then I realized, okay, you know what? The year I set out was very good for me. And it was frustrating at the same time because, I knew I could have helped that team at that time, but the rules did not allow me to play. So first lesson, be patient. You gotta be patient. And that's kind of like what I was learning, how to be patient. And the second one was how to be disciplined.
Right.
There's a structure here. You have to go by the Carolina rules. Because I'm not saying that Michigan was not structured, but it was not structured the same way.
Right.
So come the time for me to play, there was Serge, who was a senior at that time. I'm a junior. And now I act like my frustration is boiling even over and over. And I know, Shammond, you remember this clearly. We came back from Wake Forest, and I think I played 7 minutes that game, had like 6 points and 4 rebounds. Like, I was like, okay, shoot, I got to play more in the second half.
Right.
I didn't see the floor in the second half. And I was so pissed. I'm like, okay, now how am I going to talk to coach about this? And I didn't know what else to do. I was frustrated. So I wrote him a letter. I wrote Coach Smith a letter. Remember that? I was in the back of the bus and I wrote Coach Smith a letter. So, in the letter, I just kind of spoke my mind, like how I felt and how things were. And, that if I knew this was going to be the case, I probably would not come. I probably would have been playing, more minutes and all this and all that. So, Coach, I gave it to him on my way out. So he took the letter and he read it for sure, because the next day he called me in.
Right.
So I came in and, he put out the film and showed me the game against Virginia Tech, the Harris Theater tournament in Charlotte, where I played 15 minutes, had only 2 rebounds, fouled out, and did not score. Then he pulled out another game, I don't remember who it was, where it was not even better.
Right.
And then he pulled out the weight game. And then he said to me, you got to earn everything. He said, just because you transfer here, just because you did this, you did that, all that got to be behind you. You cannot live off what you did. You got to live off what you're going to do.
Right.
And at this point right now, you're not helping the team because you're selfish. You're thinking about you, not the team. And I'm like, wow. It kind of hurt my feelings, to be honest with you, that coach said that, because I'm not a selfish person.
Right.
And for him to say that, I'm like, whoa, what is he talking about? Selfish. And that's the only word I heard. And he repeated it again. He was like, look, if you want 15, you got to make sure you make the most out of 7, which is what you did. So maybe next game you'll have 8. I'm like, well, how can we jump from 15 to 8? And you just told me to, but, just the point I'm trying to make here was that sometimes you think of yourself somewhere where you're not really, in reality, you're not even close to where you want to be. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of pushed me, to just kind of push me. And not only that, but accepted the role. Because I think my biggest issue was that I did not accept the role that Coach Smith envisioned for me to have on that team. Now, a lot of people don't know that I can shoot the ball really well.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people don't know that.
Well, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that.
But that was just an example. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had to really take a step back and be like, okay, you know what? How am I going to be useful to the team from now moving forward? And I think that's when my career really at North Carolina started, from that point on.
Right.
Because I knew that, okay, you know what? We got a bunch of nice guys. We got a bunch of talented guys here, but we don't have an enforcer. We don't have like a guy that people will call crazy. Because every good team have a crazy guy. Now, that doesn't mean I'm crazy, but that's the role that I embrace. And I think we needed that. And I was willing to just, sacrifice my game for the better good.
And there leads me to my next question. Well, not next question, but I want to explain to people, because now I get to speak about you a little bit more because I was there. I'm appreciative now, for sure. I was appreciative then, because I felt like even though you were top 30 and I wasn't even all state, in that environment of the guys that were playing, you and I were probably more close into, like you said before, they had a perception of what they wanted you to be. You know what I mean? The role, and which is okay. I mean, it's Coach Smith. Coach Smith team, and we love Coach Smith. I love Coach Smith just like you do, and I was Coach Smith. So we kind of, we said, okay, I'm going to put my career in your hands because I think I personally feel like you know what's best.
Yeah.
And so he put us in positions or put us where he felt like we would be more effective, but effective for the team and the progression.
Yes.
And so there was no one on my basketball team that I played with for 4 years at the University of North Carolina that was more selfless than you.
Well, thank you.
There's no one, like who actually gave up who they were. And so it's interesting that you give us the story because it's like you said, you transformed.
Yes.
Because I remember times we'd be out there, because I want you to blow too. You know what I mean? So I remember time we'd be playing game, I'd be like, Makhtar, shoot that, shoot it. And you would be like, nope, you throw it out and maybe set a screen or something like that. And I used to, man, shoot the ball. Because I was coming from a place of, hey, man, they, not that they don't respect us, but maybe they don't hold us in the same regard as others. And that's okay. Like you said, your thought process of yourself may not be reality. And so maybe at that time, maybe my thought process of myself wasn't the reality. But I was like that with you too. I was like, Mac, and truth be told, now I think a lot of guys on the team, was like that towards you. I mean, because I can remember Twan, Mac, you gotta shoot that, like you score it, and so, being selfless, man, and giving yourself up for a team, man, at that age. How did you do it? Like how did you not care? I mean, maybe it was the conversation. I didn't never have that conversation with Coach Smith. I had a conversation with him, but it wasn't about that. But how were you able to? Now that would have, like, as much as people say, "Oh, Makhtar was crazy," he was crazy. Look at what you were dealing with, having all this talent, all this ability, but you were never showing it. And so, like that part would have drove me crazy. So how weren't you able to, how were you, like, you go off on a few other things, but how were you able to keep yourself in check to continue in that environment?
It was challenging, but it was not difficult.
Okay.
It was a challenge for me to just say, okay, you know what, I'm just going to do this for my guys. Right. But it was not difficult because I had a very strong bond with the guys, the same guys. I felt like if I go down, they go down. If they go down, I go down. And I live by that to this day. So I have no regret whatsoever having done that with the guys I did it with, and that's one thing that, people can say anything they want about me, but I know one thing: the people I want to war with, they will never question my loyalty. That's right. The sense of sacrifice, because, I mean, how many people can say, "Hey, man, I went to 2 Final Four"? How many people can say, "I won back-to-back ACC"? How many people can say, "I played with Shammond Williams, Vance Carter, Antoine Jameson"? How many people can say I was the captain, one of the co-captain of Dean Smith's last team? So there was a lot of things that came with it, positive things that I embraced. And if that was just giving up my game, because I did not give up who I am. I didn't give up my person, my core, my values. I just give up the way I was taught how to play the game. Right. And I learned a new way of playing the game, which at the end make me more complete as a player than anything else, because I've learned how to dissect the game. I learned how to break down the game from a different perspective. And it was difficult at that time. I'm not even going to sit here and pretend that it was not. It was difficult. When you look at the box score and see, Shammond 22, Vance 22, Antoine 21, Ademola 19, and then Makhtar 5. Yeah, it was difficult, but sometimes you got to look at the big picture. Winning for me got me where I got. I mean, it gave me that mentality, that mindset. And it's helping me today in life because everything I get myself into,
Mhm.
I want to win
No question.
first. It's good to make a lot of money and all that stuff, but hey, man, there's only 5,000 people that ever play in the NBA. I'm one of them.
That's right.
You cannot buy that. You know what I'm saying? There's Coach Smith coached 200 people. I'm one of them.
That's right.
So there are things that no one can take away from you. I have a degree from the University of North Carolina. And made a lot of friends and have brothers, guys that I can count on today. So I have no regret whatsoever to to take the route that I took at that time.
Right.
Again, it was not the fun part, because people was on your ear all the time. Hey man, you got to do this, you got to do that. And then I did not have a support system like the traditional college guy, where
Right.
you got your mom and dad around, you got
Right.
brothers coming, you got cousins. So on Saturday night or Wednesday, whenever we were playing in Chapel Hill, most of us had their family members.
Right.
Ademola and I were the only one, really, when you look in the stand. Well, Ademola had his brother actually.
Yeah.
Ademola was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked up. I don't have nobody there that I'm related to. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
my support system was the guys I was on the court with.
Right.
So when you look at the stand and see Reggie and Allen and stuff, I was looking at you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that was my thing. The way Vince was playing inspired me. The way Twan was playing inspired me, to do better. The way you played is and plus, I'm a little older than those guys. So I had to take them under my wing and be the
Right.
protector. Because as you know, no one touched my guys.
That's true.
So and I kind of took that to heart because coach kind of helped me transform my mentality of just being just Makhtar and coming in and went to Oak Hill and all this other stuff to kind of challenge myself to become that other person he expected me to. And for me, that alone was one of the biggest challenges I had to face because, it's like asking someone black to be white.
Right.
And I'm not talking about from the way you carry yourself, and I'm talking about your skin color to just change it radically.
Right.
And for me, that's kind of okay, you know what? Coach might not think I can change my ways, kind of,
Yeah.
change the way I see the game and all that. So I'm okay, I'm gonna prove them wrong. And
Yeah.
I'm a man of challenge. So you tell me you can do this, hey, thank you. But trust me, at the end of the day, I will be up there. Now, whether I do it or not, I don't know. But I feel very pleased with the result at the end. Because
Oh.
when I look back on it, we all doing well. So
Yeah, we're blessed.
you know,
But I tell you, I mean, you start looking at some of the things we be I'll never forget the first time I saw the African tattoo. And ladies and gentlemen,
oh,
I'm gonna I'm gonna explain to you what the African tattoo is. Because we were a close-knit team, of course. I mean, we were a band of brothers for sure. One day after we finished taking a shower,
oh, I can't believe you
well,
believe this.
oh man, you gotta tell it, man. Then you say we go shoot it straight. We
This
gotta
guy
shoot
here.
it what the people want to hear. So Webb Tyndall has finished taking his shot. Was it Webb or was it David? Or was it both? It was Webb, right? It was Webb. I thought it was Webb.
Webb and Charlie was the first two victims of it.
Exactly. I'm just getting over COVID, so I'm trying to, get my stuff together. I won't be razzle dazzle. And so I'm sitting in my chair, and as I'm sitting in my chair, I could see. We had the mirror, so you could see people, and so I see Webb come out.
Yeah.
I see Webb come out. Will come out the shop, he got his towel on, he's doing his little talking or whatever. And then all of a sudden you heard, wow! Oh, Mac! It's like, so you turn around. Oh, what happened? Will was like, oh, Mac! Oh, so he grabbing his shoulder, the back of his shoulder. Oh, he said, Well, I like you so much. I thought you should be the first to get the African tattoo. And it was an imprint of his hand on Webb's back. And Lord help us, I'm talking about, boy, you talking about people were in tears. Because first, first we was like, because at that time, you never knew. You never knew. Mac might go left on you. You dig what I'm saying? He must have elbowed Mac in practice or something. So, so I turned around like, oh. And then I saw the way he was talking to him. I said, well, he ain't mad at him. No. Well, I like you so much. I thought you should be the first to get an African tattoo. And I think when you told him, his face kind of lit up. And, he started laughing.
He did.
You know what I mean?
But Shammond, one other thing that I've learned, like just throughout the journey, you got to treat everybody equally, And
No
one
question.
thing we did not have on our team was like stars. We didn't have anybody with a big ego coming in acting like they should treat them differently than others,
That's right.
And that's why we used to have like those Sundays dinner, at Microwave, we got everybody. So it was like just a way to break the ice, I never consider Webb as a walk-on.
No.
Or Charlie for that matter, And I don't think any one of us treated them as,
That's right.
So, and for me, that was important that everyone feel equal.
That's right.
And I think that's kind of like what we accomplished. So, I mean, unfortunately, Webb had to suffer a few seconds from that tattoo, but I think, I give him something that he'll never forget the rest of his life, because he always talk about it to this day.
That's right. He enjoyed the term of endearment.
Yes,
the terms of endearment.
That was just my way to show him love. That was it,
No question. No question. Yeah. And so, you start talking about some of the things. I had Britton on here because you actually had gone to Africa. And so, I had Brendan. And so I began to talk to Brendan, and Brendan, of course, his whole premise of who he is was predicated off of you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. How you were with him, how you treated him, how you helped him understand, how you made him tougher and stuff like that. And so I told Brendan, I said, yeah. I said, but do you also remember how, Mac made sure that you didn't get in any type of trouble? And he kind of didn't understand, or he couldn't reference back. I said, well, let me explain to you, since you don't remember. I said 1998 in Greensboro at the ACC tournament. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the other teams did before us, but we were one of the very few that we felt like, hey, you know what? We'll make our own roommates. Remember?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
So, well, actually, not only did we do that, we were the first to get multiple tennis shoes.
Yes, we
and
did.
I'm not going to take the credit. I was a captain at the time, but
I can't. The culture. I think we all changed the culture.
It was
you.
I mean, it was you. No, I'm gonna shoot it straight. It was you that did it, because Coach Guthridge was in charge, and Coach Guthridge and I, we didn't have.
Your head bumping. Yeah,
so,
for sure.
You know what I mean? So it was like, y'all remember you said, Shammond, you wanna get, da-da-da-da? I said, well, how you want to do it? What you mean? And you was like, well, we're gonna have to go talk to Coach.
Yeah.
Said, well, Matt, that's your lane. You know what I mean? You're more than capable of getting that done, hopefully, because they wasn't gonna go for that. You know what I mean? It's just something that they wouldn't do. And I truly believe that I think that makes me a good CEO, I guess, because I knew, remove myself. Matt, go take care of that. And then I remember you walking, you said, okay, I'm gonna go do it. You went in, you left. And then you came back. No, you came back with 2 shoe cards. That's what you did.
That's what it was, exactly.
You came back with 2 shoe cards. And you were like, hey guys, it's done. I said, what? He said, look, I got multiple shoe cards. We can get any shoe that we want or whatever, whatever. And I was like, thank you, Mac. And, and every time we needed something, who we go to? Mac. Mac, you see them new Nikes?
Yeah.
Mac go to, you know what I mean? So I thank you for that. I appreciate it. But going back to Brendan, I was telling Brendan, Brendan, do you remember when we all were in Greensboro? I can talk about it now because we out. I said, all of us was like, okay, well, we going here, we're gonna go here, you know what I mean? We're gonna leave the hotel and go here. And and you talking about, yeah, I'm gonna go see my friends over at A&T or whatever the case may be. And Mac turned around and said, you ain't going nowhere. you gonna stay in that room. You gonna stay in that room. You ain't going nowhere. And I remember Brendan looking at you like, what?
They asked me if I was Mr. Haywood.
Yeah. What? Who you think? Makhtar, you know, yeah, that happened. Makhtar, who you think? Who you think you are? Mr. Haywood?
Yeah.
And boy, even we fell out laughing.
I remember that.
I said, Mac gonna kill it. Mac gonna kill it. He gonna wake up in the middle of the night. Mac gonna be on top of him, choking it. But you know, just in that regard, man, just how you were, and like you said, that guy that, you know, like you knew who needed that and who didn't.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And for our basketball team, like, you know, like I remember, like we'd be in games, we'd be in a battle, you know, and, and you would say, Vince, hey man, get it together. You know what I mean? Like, and Vince, you know,
yeah.
Anytime you say anything, you know, the eyes,
yeah,
and you
sure.
be like, man, get it together.
Yeah.
You know, and if some, you know, like torn, like, you know, like if somebody got beat defensively, you know what I mean? Like somebody got beat defensively and drove, and you might block the shot, or you may even get the foul.
Yeah.
You know, when we got the huddle, man, you'd be like, hey man, stay in front of your man. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you know, man, I thought that was, you know, I thought that was great for us, like you said before, but you know, that helped us as a basketball team. And it helped some people flourish more than they possibly would have flourished.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
You know, when it come back to Brandon, it's funny because the first time, his very first practice, he came in with the big knee braces, and you know, Brandon used to be overweight, running slow, and all that. But you know, one thing that caught my eye was his hands, his footwork. Because once he get on that, you know, he get positioned under that basket, you might as well just, you know, hey, count the dead bodies, because he's gonna go up there and he's gonna dunk it.
No question.
So I'm like, okay, if this kid can find a way to lose weight and just get his thing together, I mean, he can be a monster.
Yes.
And my whole thing was that, okay, you know what? Whatever I did not have, I will make sure he has it. He might not like it, but he's going to see the benefit from it, hopefully, later on.
That's
right.
right.
And, you know, I was very close to him, but I was very far from him. We were not a friend because we was competing.
Right.
You know, and he thought I did not like him. I don't know if you remember when we get in the locker room and we used to take our laundry bag to Ken.
Yeah.
And then one day, I don't know what Brendan did to me. I'm like, yo, everybody throw that luck thing down, man. Brendan gonna take it. I'm not taking it. I'm like, well, you're gonna take it. I'm gonna tell the coach you're gonna take it. Which one is it? So he started taking the stuff out. So that was just a way for me to show him that, look, you know what? There is something bigger than just you.
Right.
And once you start applying that into your life, you're going to be bigger than what you ever think. And that was my whole thing with him. And the ACC tournament, we in Greensboro, I mean, I'm like, look, this kid is at home. And no telling what, I mean, imagine we having a tournament in Senegal.
Right.
You know, I mean, and that's just kind of like how my whole thought process was that. I'm like,
Right.
if
Right.
these kids go out here, he might not play tomorrow because they ain't no
Right.
telling what he's going to be doing. Now, I'm not saying Brendan was irresponsible, but you never know, man. You're home, you play for North Carolina. We know we're a target.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not going anywhere, you know? It was not like trying to bully him or whatever. It was just trying to help him, really, looking back, you know. And Brendan probably don't remember this. We didn't really speak, him and I. He'll see me, he'll say, what's up, and that was it. And, you know, but one time I was in DC, and after a Wizard game, and he came out the locker room. And usually he'll come out and just look and wave and keep moving. But that time he stopped. And I'm like, yo, Mac, man, what's up, man? And the tone, everything was like different.
Right.
And I say, okay. So, you know me, I'm like, yeah, what up? Try to be. He's like, man, come on, man. You know, we ain't in college anymore, man. I ain't mad at you. Why you be mad at me and stuff? You know, I crack
Yeah.
jokes, you know?
Yeah.
But I felt so good that day because I'm like, okay, he finally gets it. He finally understood that whatever I've done was not because I didn't like him or because I was against him. It's just that I saw something in him that he probably didn't see.
Right.
Know? So today, I mean, Brandon and I are, you know, very close. We text each other and all that stuff. And to me, that's like just pride, you know, that's
Yeah.
happening. It's like when I walk in Chapel Hill, walk in the building and see the jerseys of the guys I play with. I'm like, I'm part of that.
Right.
You know, when I see Antoine jersey up there, it's like it's 33, but I see NJ on the top of it. When I see your jersey somewhere, and that's kind of how I felt. That's how I'm feeling. And that's what it's going to be because I was telling my son that not long ago. I'm like, you know, just because people got their jerseys up there doesn't mean they were better than you. You know, they might be more talented, you know, and all that, but you participated in today's success.
Yeah.
And as long as you accept your vote and know that you can help yourself in many other ways than just being the, you know, on the spotlight.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to be willing to be carried on.
Right.
Sometimes you got to carry the flag, but sometimes you got to be like the flag, let somebody else carry you. And I think kind of like we kind of did it for each other in different ways, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember against Maryland when Vince blew a cover, man. Vince just, I know you remember that game because I had to chase them on the court. You know? You know what I'm saying? I had to chase them because, I mean, he was guarding LeBron Prophet. He just let Prof get in there and just dish the ball to Medovich, Todd Medovich, and that's the only time I got dunked on.
And he dunked on you, and you went crazy.
I turned around and Vince was over there giggling. I'm like, you, not only you didn't guard your man, but you set me up, and now you're giggling? So I chased him. Coach had to call a timeout. You know?
I know.
Coach
Because it was like I was the only person that could stop you, or you sit, you know, it'd be like, you know, like two wolves looking at each other. Mac, Shammond, you better tell him.
Yeah, the thing was like, you know, it was funny at the time. It was weird actually because you don't see that happen often.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I was willing to put it on the line for the team.
That's
you
right.
know? We played Georgia Tech. You got the half hand. Eddie Ellis was trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
You know? And see, those things come back just like it was yesterday. I remember him and what's his name now? He's working for the Jazz. He's doing radio for them. Mac.
Yeah.
So they talking about how to get you in the pick because you're killing them. You're cooking. I'm like, oh, okay. I said, yeah, I don't think I speak English, huh? All right. You know, so before you know it, Eddie Ellisman was on the court, on the ground.
All right.
I'm like, you're not going to touch my guy, you know? We played Kyle in Syracuse. Antoine was hot. Then he let Sean Marks frustrate him. And we got in the locker room at halftime. I don't know if you remember this. I'm like, yo, man, if you don't play well, we're not winning. So we can sit here mourn and do all this crazy stuff we're doing. You got to step up and you got to show this dude that you're better than him. So we're going to ride with you. And we end up winning that game. So for me, it was not just like, you know, hey, let me be the one. Let us all be the one.
Right.
You know, let us all. And that was just what I live by. You know, I still live by that today. So
ain't no question. No question. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we finish losing in the Final Four to Utah. And I get a telephone call at the hotel, and they're asking me would I participate in Portsmouth. Now, at that time, Portsmouth this was a Sunday. Portsmouth was going to start that Thursday. And so at that point in time, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to go to Portsmouth or whatever the case may be. But also, they had given Makhtar a call as well, if I'm not mistaken, right? Mm-hmm. And so
on the alternate list.
He was on the alternate list.
Yeah,
that's right. And so I was like, nah, I don't think I'm going, especially if Mac ain't going. You know what I mean? If Mac ain't going, you know what I mean? I ain't going. And so, when we got back to Chapel Hill, they told you was going.
They told me the night of the banquet.
Yes, Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah, Wednesday. That's what it was. I decided to go.
Yes.
And then I kept saying, Mac, what's going on? Because I was going to not go. I was just going to tell him I'm going. Yeah. And Mac don't go. I don't go. Because I did tell him, I said, well, you know, I talked, you know, when he asked, I said, I'm going to go, but what about Makhtar? He told me, we're trying to work Makhtar again. And I was like, okay. Then the night of the banquet, they told you.
Yeah, I can get there. Yeah.
And we left out that day because we missed the banquet. We missed our senior banquet.
We missed the banquet. Yes, we did.
Yeah. And so, ladies and gentlemen, now, a lot of you only begin to see his talent at the end of our senior year when you begin to see him shoot threes. You know, coach, you know, like you say, he can shoot threes. He can play in the basket. He had great footwork. I mean, like I told you before, he's top 30 in the country. So we go to Portsmouth. And so we sitting down at Portsmouth, and the first night we had a little meeting, and then we come out to play. Now, mind you, most people had not had an opportunity to see him play Makhtar's game, like out of the Carolina system. So we had played, and I'm sitting there watching Mac play, and he got out there, he was playing, and he was reversing the basketball top of the key. So, you know, I'm sitting in the stand. I was sitting in the stand like, man, shoot the damn ball. And then I think it kind of clicked. I ain't in Carolina no more. So whoosh, he shoots the three. He run out of the court, come back, dude leave him again. Whoosh, three. So everybody like, he can shoot? I said, can he shoot? Watch. I came back to whoosh. I was like, eventually, whoever that is better come out of it. I don't know who y'all was playing that first game. I don't know. It might have been Jihad. It might have been Jihad White.
Yeah.
Yeah, but because he wouldn't come out the hole. And so Mac hit like 4 threes. So, you know, by the time they say, well, man, you got to come out. He pump fake right by. Boom. I said, everybody like, I did not know he could play like that. I said, yeah, I know you didn't know, but I did. And so what happens is after Portsmouth, you have the Nike Desert Classic, which is the
Phoenix.
40 players.
Yeah.
And if you like, they take the top 3, 4, 5 players in Portsmouth.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And they're part of that group as well, too. And so, you know, the Nike Desert Classic, shoot, you know, when they did the list, it was shit. Even though I felt like I played well, I think you shocked America. Makhtar, Shammond, and I think maybe one more person.
Wojo.
Wojo, yeah, because
Wojo made
everybody
it. Yeah,
was Wojo, like,
yeah,
you know, Wojo, because I remember telling him, "Man, Wojo better than what y'all think he is, you
yeah.
know."
Wojo was on my team actually. It was funny. It was a funny thing.
Yeah. Now that
He
I
was
think
on
about
my team, and I got in trouble trying to defend him.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, when
And
Keon Clark put that vicious pick on him, I'm over there trying to find Keon, and then Kareem was like, "Are you guys play together? I thought he went to Duke." I'm like, "Yeah, but today he ain't no Duke at Carolina. He's on my team, and if
that's
you
right.
touch him, I'm gonna do the same thing."
I'm gonna knock your head off. And so we went to Nike Desert Classic with the top 40, and Makhtar performed well. And I began, I think a lot of NBA teams began to understand how important you were to winning. Not so much that you could do the things that they didn't do, but how selfless you were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That that he gave up all of this and didn't show anybody. And it's kind of like Michael Jordan. They say the only person to hold Michael Jordan under 20 was Coach
Smith. Yeah,
it's kind of the same way with you as well. And so, only the people that are being in position to be drafted are invited to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have the right to tell this story?
I mean, you might as well. You're here. So.
I'm gonna let you say yes or no.
Nah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Now this one here, you got to lock into. Now, lock into this now. So anytime Makhtar got upset with anybody, he would always say, "I got something in my wallet for you." You know what I mean? And so, he'd be like, "I got something in the wallet for you." And so, doing, how he was raised and his environment and maybe his faith, I don't know, but he would tell you, if I pull this thing out of my wallet, it was going to be a problem. And so a lot of times throughout school, I mean, even when we was on the, on our little tour stuff, somebody, you get, I pull this out of my wallet, no, no. And so we're in Chicago at pre-draft camp, and Makhtar's playing well, I'm playing well, and so the second night, because he's playing so well, you have agents that are trying to prod you. They're trying to, they're hearing what you're doing, and so they're trying to get you to commit to them and sign with them and so on and so forth. So we ended up being roommates. We made that happen, and so so I'm sitting on the bed. I'm sitting on the bed watching TV, and the phone rings. And so when the phone rang, I pick up the phone. I said, "Hello," and the guy asked to speak to Makhtar. I said, "Okay." I said, "You speak to Mac?" I said, "All right." I said, "Mac, telephone." I gave Mac the phone, and I'm sitting there just watching TV. So then I hear Mac talking. I hear him talking. Then I see him getting a little flustered. So I look and I turn. I say, "Hey, Mac, you all right?" He like, "Yeah, I'm all right." And so he going back and forth. I don't know who this is on the phone, but he was like, "Okay, I'll fix you." And hung that phone up, right? So he hangs the phone up and he stands up. He's like, you see it. He starts speaking in French. He starts speaking his French. And so I said, he must be mad, or the guy must be French or whatever. And so he's like, "Man, Shammond, where's my wallet? Where's my wallet?" And I'm like, maybe on the table. So he goes and gets his wallet. Then he walks past me and goes in the bathroom. So as he goes in the bathroom, I hear some water running. So he comes back out with his little cup of water. He sits on the little desk, and you see he's mad. I'm like, "Matt, you all right?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm all right." So okay. So then he goes in that wallet, and he begins speaking his dialect over whatever this is. So I'll turn around and look at him. Because now I finally got to see what's in that wallet. He's always talked about whatever was in that wallet. I get to see it. This is correct, right? I am correct so far, right? Huh? Okay. If I go wrong, let me know. So I get to see kind of, I'm trying to see what's in this wallet. So he kind of, he's talking over this thing, and in this water and whatever. Then I see him put it in the water. So I look, like, okay, pay no mind. Turn back around, watch TV. So we might have went to get something to eat or whatever that night. And we came back, went to sleep. So we played at 2 different times. So I'm playing in my game, right? And I'm having a good game. And I beat a guy and I go up to shoot. One of my friends, Tyson Willer. I go up to shoot the basketball and Tyson Willer grabs me on the shoulder and pulls me down, kind of like an intentional foul, but he was just trying to stop me from scoring. So when I hit the ground, I was like, oh man, my back. Hey, it just felt, my back felt extremely different. I was like, my goodness. So they took a time out and, got to stretch me, and I saw the doctor and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna finish playing, you know what I mean? But something was wrong with my back, but we tough, we're gonna go on through it. So after the game was over, usually I stay and watch Mac. But my back was hurting, so I go back to the room. So I'm laying, my back bothering me, so I'm laying on the floor and I got my feet up on the bed, right? Because my back, I'm saying, God, my back. So maybe like 2 hours, 2 hours later, I hit a key at the door. Makhtar walks in. And I'm looking at him, and he got ice and everything on his back. I see him limping like dang, man. And so he ain't paying attention to me, I'm just laying in the floor. So he walk around me. And I say to him, what's wrong with you? He said, man, I hurt my back. I hurt my back. I said, how you hurt your back? He was like, I don't know what happened, but I hurt my back. And then, he landed there, he like, oh. I said, well, shoot, Mac, I hurt my back too. And he said, what? I said, yeah, I'm laying down here because my back, I hurt my back. Ladies and gentlemen, Makhtar looked at me, he said, I think I did it wrong. I said, did what wrong? Man. You remember that? Hey, man, did that wrong. And he pointed to the little cut. I said, oh, man. I'm telling you, hey, though we were both hurt, I'm telling you, that was one of the funniest days in my life. What you got to say about that? What you got to say about that?
I mean, look, I blame Tyson Willer for that one, and Tory Bragg for the other one.
Tory Bragg, that's it. Tory Bragg hit you in your back. That's it. Yeah.
I would blame those two for that one, man.
Yeah.
But you said something important like earlier, and about the Utah game and all that stuff in the Final Four, and I never really had a chance to talk about it, and I'm not going to get into details with it, but just to let the Carolina family that watching this know that I felt like I was let down, and thankfully, Coach Smith was there for me and my teammates. And I never really had a chance to thank you, Antoine, Vince, Ademola, Brendan, for kind of stepping up on my behalf. And, here you go. Because I felt, and that thing kind of, to this day, you can see that I'm getting emotional when I talk about it because I don't like injustice.
Right.
I feel like a lot of people are victim of it, and they don't have a pillow to lay their head on because they just feel abandoned. And I felt like, I had a family that supported me, because if you guys were not there for me, I don't think if I would be sitting here today. knowing that the school was like, put a, pretty much asking you guys not to speak about it. And Coach Smith, all that. So it was difficult because it took me literally 10 years. Because I remember you and I was working in Chapel Hill on Franklin Street one time. And I don't know if you may recall this. We walk across a lady and her kid. And her kid wanted an autograph. And the lady told the kid, nah, ask Mr. Williams. Don't ask Mr. N'Diaye because he's a troublemaker. And you didn't want to sign the autograph because you told the lady, I'm not signing this because this guy, you don't know him. You don't know what he did for the university. And then you're going to sit here judging him off what someone else said. Just to tell you how like crazy things can just shift, And I recall also, even with Twan, people always would say stuff crazy about me, and Twan would always be like, yeah, I just don't know him, man. I need to stop talking about him because you don't know him. And it's so easy, in today's society to just kind of paint someone in a different color than what he really is. And people don't really take the time to kind of get the facts and, know what's going on. Everybody's so in a hurry to judge someone. And when it's time to like, give someone the flowers like we talked about earlier, a lot of people, they rather let the flower die in their garage than give it to the person who deserves it. So for that, I'm forever grateful to you guys because I know if you guys were not there, I don't think I would be sitting here today again, and doing what I'm doing. So thank you.
Well, the one thing that is, and I think that's why you and I are so close, is that we have morals and we stand for something, principles. And that situation that happened was extremely unfortunate. And it left a sour taste. Like if it leaves a sour taste in your mouth, it leaves a sour taste in my mouth.
Definitely.
And the one thing that people was not going to be able to do is dictate what we knew to be true. Regardless of the influence that they had or what they could say to the media, we just wasn't going to allow something to be perpetuated that was not true. And it was most definitely important for me because I know you. I'm like you, me and you, we probably the only two that go back and forth. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like go back and forth, but we understand it's from a place of love and perspective. And a lot of times we see what it is. And so, that whole encounter, man, that whole encounter was difficult. And it was difficult because how it did you, how it made you feel in the perception. And it just shows today that, like you said, the injustice, the discrimination, systematic oppression. But what it showed more importantly is, like, you look at it today, like the truth came out.
Yeah.
The truth came out. And truth be told, the dude that said it, or however that situation went, really not a bad guy.
No.
Not a bad guy. Just,
you know what, Shammond?
this might have been just the situation. It might have just been the situation because, I mean.
I'm going to say this. I ran into him.
Right.
I ran into Johnsen last year in Salt Lake City. And I'm doing a game, and he was working with the Jazz. And I'm sitting on the sideline just watching guys warm up and stuff. And I see this little kid running around with red hair. I'm like, it's funny. I'm in Utah, there's a kid with red hair. That took me right back to that place. And as I'm sitting there wondering and stuff, I get a tap in the shoulder. And I turn around, that was Boy Johnsen. And he just kind of looked at me, and I just kind of look at him. And everything that came out of me I would, and I never thought of it like I was gonna feel that way when I see the guy, man. I was like, when I see this dude, it's gonna be on, you know. But
Right.
then I seen him, and I had this calming force in me. I was just relaxed. And he said to me, man, I've been looking for you. I've been waiting for this moment for 20 years. He said, I'm really sorry because you step up and made the situation right, and I never really spoke about it. And like, Shammond, like I was crying when he said that because it was just my redemption. I'm
Right.
like, you know what? Finally, this is over. I can I can close this chapter now.
Right.
Because until that point, I will always be like, it will always kind of, especially when you come to Chapel Hill, people point at you and, and this is supposed to be your home.
Right.
You come in and people have prejudgment, and you feel like, you know what, what is it? What am I doing here, But again, when that happened, I was like so happy. Because after the game, I flew to Oklahoma City that night. Man, I'm telling you, like I just sat there, I was crying like a baby, literally, just because it seems like everything just came out,
Mm-hmm.
And to think about it, man, if, like I said, if you guys were not there for support and the brotherhood, the friendship, and just knowing what you guys knew and not being able to voice it. And I know it was frustrating at times because, I'll talk to Ed Gareth, and even though Ed was not there with us, but Ed is one of my closest guys, and people will always say that, yeah, man, that knucklehead, or Makhtar this, Makhtar that. And I know at some point it was frustrating to you guys because it felt like you always had to defend me,
No. No.
I know I would have been
Yeah.
like, you know what,
No.
forget
Well,
it.
no, man, because people that know me, they know that you can't talk about Makhtar. If you say something bad about him, you say something bad about me. So to truth be told, I've probably maybe that lady on Franklin Street.
Yeah, she did.
Maybe she got the word out. You know what I mean? Maybe she got the word out. But man, that was a situation, man, and it's grown. Man, you've grown past it. We've all grown past it.
Definitely.
And look at you today. You know what I mean? Look at you today, man. A scout for the New York. Well, first and foremost, the first Senegalese basketball player to play in the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, that's history. You know what I mean? Now you look, you the scout for the for the NBA for the Knicks. You're the commissioner of your country's national team. Like, come on, man. Like, I mean, really, Coach
blessed,
Smith.
man.
Really, Coach Smith was setting you up
for
the point in time when you did meet Britton.
No, I mean, look, I'm blessed. I'm beyond blessed, actually, because, if someone would have told me today I'd be working for the Knicks and I'd be running, the general manager of the Senegalese national team and doing all the stuff I'm doing, right now, I would sign up right away, But in life, I guess, you got to go through the journey and then you got to enjoy the good moment and learn from the bad, And I think that's what I'm trying to do still this day, Just trying to be an example to my son, to all the kids in Senegal that have a dream, that want to be me or somebody beyond me, Gorgie Jang, like Shammond Williams and all those things. So, and I'm just kind of like, I feel like that's my mission because, Coach Smith always said this about life. There are people that are there to break barriers, to break
barriers.
Yeah, exactly. And there are others who just follow,
Right.
And I feel like my mission is I just got to show, all the time how to do it the right way. Now, I don't get it right all the time, but I'm going to try at least to try to get it right. Larry Brown always say, well, I want my teams to play the right way. And he got that from Coach Smith, you know. And Coach always taught us to try to live the right way, say thank you, be appreciative. And I think that's kind of like where I'm at right now, at that point. I can hear him talk all the time. But also, I think he taught many of us how to adapt to today's society, to today's reality. because some of us don't. Some of us still think that, Coach Smith's still here and, and all that stuff. They still live that Carolina dream life, But I think many of us kind of realize that, hey, man, the man gave us the keys to the car. Now we have to drive it,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that you can say is there's not a teammate that you ever had at the University of North Carolina that doesn't appreciate you or love you. And you got that prodding prospect in the house, old Max. When God permitting, when I get back into coaching, I'm gonna most definitely recruit him. I'm thinking I'm high on the list to be able to get him. I mean, he plays on the 13 and under national team, French national team.
Yeah, he's
I think I can do something with that talent and continue.
He's nice, I think he's nice. He got ways to go. He gotta, learn how to be a good citizen. I think that's kind of like gonna open up a lot of doors for him.
Yeah.
Well,
if I coach him, I'm gonna tell you what I'm going to tell him.
What you gonna tell him?
Max, you gotta be more aggressive and shoot the basketball.
Oh, trust me, he know how to do that.
Oh, you best believe I know he can.
Yeah.
For
Because
sure.
sometimes we sit here and watch highlights of us when we play, and he always like, "Why? How come you didn't shoot the ball?" I'm like, "Yo, man, don't sound like my teammates. I ain't trying to hear that." Okay, that's how it sounds like. Well, come you didn't shoot the ball. You pass the ball all the time. What you, a point guard?
Yeah, just tell him, Matt. Tell him I left all the shots for you. I left them for you.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he'll take it and borrow some for others because he definitely love to shoot.
Well, good.
Absolutely.
Well, my brother, I want to say thank you so much, man. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your story on the platform.
No, for sure.
Extremely important.
But Shammond, I got a question for you. You
Okay.
should be doing TV.
TV?
I think you should be doing games on TV because you know the game. And right now you're not coaching. So
Right.
I don't know who's watching this, what producers out there. So I need to come get this man and put him behind the mic because he knows the game and he can really help, like explain the fans how to have a better understanding of what basketball is about and hard work. Because I'm not even gonna lie, man. I always said this. You one of the hardest worker I ever played with. Because you came in and you had to climb that mountain because there was guys in front of you that had bigger names, so to speak, reputation and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So you always had to prove yourself, and people don't understand that number 3, the story behind it, but your sense of giving and sharing, that's why you end up number 3, but your original number was 15. Mm-hmm. And you were willing to give Vince that number. And nobody took it from you because at Carolina, you got like, if you're an upperclassman, right, underclassmen have no say so. Well, at least that's how it used to be. I don't know how it is now, you know. So guys come in, I want this number, I want that number. No. You gave Vince number 15. And I'm a great witness of that, So, but just to say that, I think we all share that common thing, man. We know how to give. What is you? What is Twan? What is Vince? Ademola? Brendan, Terrence Newby, Ed Carter. I mean, the list goes on. Brad Frederick. I think we share that common thing, man. We know how to give. We do it in different ways, and how we do it, but we always give. You right here working with Skid. Guys having free basketball camp out there, coaching clinics. Just different ways, man. And I think that's kind of like part of what kind of keep us together today, And we have to thank the man upstairs for sure. But we also have to thank Coach Smith for having installed that in us.
No question.
Mold our character. So
well, I appreciate the television, but I got to get back into coaching first. Now, once I figure out that they don't want to hire me, then I may go to television. But
I always tell people, take the Doc Rivers way. He wanted to coach, but he went on TV, and then he ended up coaching. 20 years later, he's still coaching.
I might have to take that advice, maybe.
That's the best way to. That's the best way to interview without interviewing. Get out there and speak about you, because I know you're not going to do it. So someone else has to do it. So at least you got the mic. You can talk about you. Tell people how you see the game. So
I'll hire you.
Somebody going to be lucky to have you on his staff, or have you on his team. So for sure, it's just I think we have a coaching tree in North Carolina that people don't talk about. That's another thing that I'm kind of frustrated with, because I was reading an article the other day, and it was saying like, the Duke coaching tree and then other school and all that. And then when it came to Carolina, they only named Wes Miller, and I love Wes. He's a brother, but he's not the only coach out there,
Mm-hmm.
Yourself, Jerry Stackhouse is coaching, Derek Phelps, Brian Reed, the list goes on. Even on staff right now, you got Sean May, you got Jackie Manuel, I think we got a coaching tree also, and people have to respect that. Coach Smith had his guys and Roy have his guys, but at the end of the day, we all represent the same blue and white jersey. We all Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't no Carolina Roy and Carolina Dean, it's all one Carolina. So, and I think, the people that make those decisions have to be aware that there are guys out here who sweat, for this university, who gave blood and tears for the university, and who deserve also, some consideration, when that time comes that, Coach Williams decided to retire, that,
right.
We at least have a shot at it, because it would be nice to keep it in the family.
Right.
So I just wanted to say that because, I just don't want to sit here and be a hypocrite, so.
Right. Well, my brother, thank you for your time. The Carolina Conversation, really enjoyed it. And, you and I talk every week anyway. So, we'll be talking, but we appreciate you. And I'm pretty sure all the Carolina family appreciate you. Love you, my brother. Love you. And we'll talk to you later.